Hello and welcome to Granada Reports.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for joining us. A really busy programme to start the week because we're joined by some very special guests in studio for our top story.
Yeah, with us are Lauren and her family. Tonight we hear how you, our viewers, have helped raise the money she needs for a vital operation.
Yeah, it is absolutely great to start with some happy news. Also on the programme tonight.
Thanks a billion, but how excited should we be about the cash the region's getting from the cancellation of HS2?
Everton have their 10-point penalty for breaching financial fair play rules reduced to 6. We're live for reaction at Goodison Park.
Through fire and flood, we catch up with the motorcycling mates making an epic journey to raise money for a children's charity.
It doesn't matter where you are, if you're in a petrol station or you're turning up at a campsite or a hotel or you just stop at the side of the road, people are just so friendly.
And if you managed to be able to enjoy it, it was certainly great to see some sunshine this weekend. Find out what the weather has in store for this week later on in the programme.
So please do stay with us, but we start the week by celebrating some really good news, which is pretty much all down to you, our wonderful viewers.
Yeah, it's incredible to think that only this time last week we were telling you about Lauren Bolton, 29-year-old woman from Lancashire living with a rare and debilitating condition.
Lauren was raising funds for a private operation on her jaw, which is permanently locked by a condition known as TMJ.
Yeah, she can't eat any solid food. Her weight has plummeted to 6 stone and she lives in constant pain. She'd been told she'd have to wait 4 years for the operation on the NHS.
Well, as a result of our report, her fundraising got a massive boost. Then a local businessman stepped in. He said if she managed to raise £60,000, he'd donate the rest to reach the target of £95,000.
And she did it. We're delighted to welcome Lauren to the studio tonight with Mum and Dad, Denise and Paul. Great to see you here. So, Lauren, first up, what was it like when you realised you'd reached the target?
Unbelievable. That it still hasn't sunk in.
So what would you like to say to the people who have made that possible?
Thank you so much. The words will never be enough. I just keep saying thank you.
How much difference will it make to your life?
Everything. Absolutely everything. To not be in constant pain, to be able to eat, and to be able to kind of plan for the future.
Denise and Paul, when we first ran our first reports about Lauren's story, your fundraiser had raised £3,000. After the weekend, the number was £60,000. I mean, what do you guys make of all the support that you've been given by our viewers?
Absolutely incredible, incredible. We sat there watching the GoFundMe on the laptop going up and we were all in complete disbelief.
In tears. In
tears, how people can be so generous. And we've had letters through the post, private emails, cheques through the post. We've had money given to Lauren for a spa day and donated as well. It's just unbelievable.
Paul, what's the last week been like for you? It's all happened so fast.
Oh, a lot of tears. I thought I'd run out and then I set off again today. It's just dehydrated. It's incredible. Absolutely. I'm starting again now. But it's just people in numbers. Fantastic.
I noticed your eyes were filling up with tears just as we came on air tonight.
Yeah.
It's really hard, this for you.
Yeah.
What about this incredible businessman? I mean, he doesn't want us to name him, and obviously we can understand that. But what would you like to say to him? Why has he helped so much, do you think?
I got a call from him and he's just said he's their grandparents, their parents. They've been lucky that their kids have been healthy, and he's been lucky that he got successful business. And he just said, you tugged at the heartstrings and I wanted to help. And it was just like, I've just rung the girls and were like, incredible.
Oh dear, you've started us off again. I've actually got
Stop
some
it, you're going to send us off in a second.
Lauren, there you go. Thanks, sweetheart.
And he's an incredible, lovely bloke. We've all spoke to him. He's just...
And his wife as well.
When they hit that amount, he rung me and he just said, I'm shaking. We're all in tears and bits. They were both crying, weren't they? We're just like, wow.
Unbelievable.
They're proper lovely people.
Lauren, just tell us what life is going to be like for you once you've had this operation.
It's hard to imagine because I've been like this for so long. I just want to eat a pizza.
What sort of pizza do you
I
want
don't
to eat?
care. Just a
That's
pizza.
just the greatest answer.
You know, just get out of the house, see the world and build my career the way that I always planned to. It's huge.
And Dad, I suppose you always want to protect your kids, don't you, as a parent?
Yeah.
So what's it like to hear Lauren talking about just doing normal, ordinary things like eating a pizza?
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's you do anything for your kids, and obviously money. When we've spent so much money on misdiagnosis, and you know the bank was bare. It was tough coming out of that, out of your comfort zone to that we couldn't help, and to go. I'm a proud man, we're proud people, and to go to people was difficult. It took me a long time to get my head around it, but I did, and we're here. We've done it.
Denise, I mean, it was clear to all of us what a close-knit team that you are. Have you even begun to think about what the next few years might look for you and Paul?
Yeah, so the main thing really is watching Lauren grow, starting a doctorate, as she plans to, because she wants to still pursue a career, and that's really important for us because she's done so well through school, and we've supported her through school, uni, and everything else, and she's done amazing. It's hard to imagine Lauren eating pizza, but I'd love nothing more than to go for a meal and sit down with her and eat one together.
We want pictures
Share
of
one.
that meal. Oh,
Yeah.
I tell you, you've got us
That'd be
all
amazing.
very upset.
Yeah.
But in a wonderful way. It's just so lovely to see you with us tonight. What a difference a week makes.
Incredible, 5 days. 5 days, and we're at this point. It's just, I keep saying the same thing, it's just incredible.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in to share that good news with us tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Keep the tissues on the table.
I know. I needed them myself. Thank you. Well, moving on now. Next tonight, transport. When the Prime Minister announced that he was cancelling the northern leg of the HS2 high-speed rail project from Birmingham to Manchester, well, he told us that that was good news for our region.
He said all of the money saved would be spent on other transport schemes across the country. Well, today we learned where some of it, including £1.5 billion here in the northwest, will go.
But critics, including Labour, say this isn't new money and these aren't new projects. Our political correspondent Andrew Misra has more.
Now, this is the first time
transporting his cabinet up north for the first time today.
we are here to demonstrate that we are spreading opportunity right across our country.
The Prime Minister keen to focus on where he'll redirect HS2 funds.
We're going to reallocate that money to local areas for them to spend on their priorities on a scale which has never happened before, providing an unprecedented amount of long-term funding to local communities across the North and Midlands.
Rishi Sunak cancelled the northern leg of HS2 last autumn.
We will reinvest every single penny, £36 billion.
Today, more details about 4.7 billion of those pounds.
Across the country.
The North West gets £1.5 billion, including £732 million for councils across Lancashire and £470 million for local authorities in Cheshire. At Crewe Station this morning, scepticism from some commuters about whether the money will ever reach them.
It won't get here.
Whatever is going to be announced today is not going to be enough.
Yeah, it's a good step, I think.
I think we're coming off second best again. We're always the forgotten North. It's all promises at the moment, and promises have never been fulfilled in the past.
The money could go towards new bus and train stations, roads and electric car charging points. The government says it's game-changing. Labour leaders in the North West say it shows they're not on a level playing field.
I just think it's all about the election, isn't it? It's not about what's right and what the country needs. Bear in mind, people from Lancashire and Cheshire travel up from south to north. They get as frustrated as anybody about the services on the West Coast Main Line and Avanti West Coast. So, this railway line would have benefited everyone.
West-east connectivity is still terrible. North-south connectivity is still terrible. And whilst our roads, of course, need investment, and this funding will go towards potholes it doesn't tackle the fundamental issue. And the fundamental issue is that we have a broken country and it needs fixing.
Limited hope then that the funding will open up opportunities anytime soon.
Yes, Andrew, the question as ever when it comes to cash for transport schemes in the north, when is any of this going to happen?
Well, not before April 2025, Lucy, and so crucially, not before the next general election. We've heard a lot of people say today, why couldn't this all have been announced sooner? But what I think is interesting is the change of approach here from the government. Back in October at the Conservative Party conference, when they scrapped HS2 and they announced these Network North projects, they were very specific at what they were intended to go towards. But now they seem to be giving this money to councils and effectively saying, set your own priorities. A leading think tank commenting on this whole approach said that it falls short of what was put forward by George Osborne, the former Chancellor and tattered MP, with his Northern Powerhouse partnership, a big part of which was that idea of east-west connectivity.
10 years ago, George Osborne promised us a Northern Powerhouse. I'll tell you something, you can't look at this plan, what's being announced today, and be anything less than underwhelmed compared to what George Osborne, himself a former Conservative Chancellor, was promising us here in the North 10 years ago, when he did have a genuine commitment to raising our productivity. And I didn't hear any of that sensible, long-term economic thinking from the Prime Minister across in Yorkshire earlier today.
Well, the Conservative Party have questioned the impartiality of Mr Murison, who did used to be a Labour councillor. As for Labour, we spoke to their the current Shadow Transport Secretary, and she confirmed that if Labour does get into government, then they do intend to honour the commitments announced today.
Thank you.
In other news today, the inquest into the death of a talented musician from Merseyside who was killed on a night out has been told his mother will never recover from losing her son. Jacob Billington from Crosby was stabbed by a mentally ill knifeman who went on the rampage in Birmingham. His killer, Zephaniah McLeod, was sentenced to life for manslaughter and attempting to murder and wound others. Jacob's mum, Jo, was told her son's killer had previous convictions for robbery, drugs and firearms offences and had only been released from jail 5 months before the attacks.
Well, the ITV Evening News continues with the national and international news at 6:30. Here's Mary with the details.
Coming up on the programme, wrong and unacceptable. The Prime Minister condemns comments which started a row over Islamophobia in his party. Rishi Sunak denies the Tories have a problem, while the former Conservative chairman, Lee Anderson, refuses to apologise. Young and too ill to work calls for urgent action on Britain's mental health crisis. And the supermarket delivery driver who's bagged a life-changing prize at the Kenya Open. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Be able to putt like that.
One
that would
day,
have
maybe.
taken me 6 goes, probably.
One day, maybe. Let's stay with sports. We've got some big news for Everton. Hi, Mike.
Yeah, hi guys. It's been an anxious wait for news for everyone at the club. Well, today, some good news. Everton's punishment for breaking the Premier League's financial rules has been reduced from 10 points to 6. They were hit with the penalty last November, but an appeal was heard earlier this month by an independent panel, which has concluded that the punishment was too severe. Chris Hall is live at Goodison Park for us. Chris, what is the reaction there?
Well, the club say they are still digesting the decision. They are, though, satisfied with the reduction in their punishment. A reminder of what that punishment is for. Everton's losses in the period leading up to the end of 2022 came in £19 million over the limit imposed by the Premier League. Their points deduction of 10 points given to them back in November was the biggest in Premier League history. In fact, you only get a 9-point deduction for insolvency, something Everton pointed out to the appeal board, who agreed with with that and have handed back 4 of those points, which makes a huge difference to Everton when you look at the Premier League table. This morning they were just 1 point above the relegation zone. Now they've moved up from 17th to 15th position, 5 points above the bottom 3. Something else Everton are happy with is that the original commission have been deemed to be wrong in saying that Everton were less than frank with the Premier League over the debt linked to their new stadium. That has now been described as an innocent mistake. Everton are far from being out of the woods, though. They're still waiting on the result of another investigation into the losses leading up to the end of last season. That could also lead to a points deduction. So for Sean Dyche and his players, with just 12 games left of the season, every point now is crucial to their chances of staying in the Premier League.
OK, Chris at Goodison Park, thank you very much indeed. Well, next to a victory on the other side of Stanley Park, where Liverpool are celebrating lifting the Carabao Cup. Jurgen Klopp described it as the most special trophy he's ever won, as his team of youngsters beat Chelsea in the final in extra time at Wembley. David Chisnall reports.
Liverpool are the cup winners again.
A magical moment and Jurgen Klopp's most special cup win. A spine-tingling rendition of Liverpool's famous footballing anthem rang around Wembley as the club celebrated winning a record-extending 10th League Cup.
It is, in my more than 20 years, easily the most special trophy I ever won. I got taught outside that there's an English phrase, you don't win trophies with kids. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, under Klopp, Liverpool have been crowned kings of England, Europe and the world. But what made this League Cup win stand out was it was done with the kids. Injuries to a host of the senior squad saw teenage academy players graduate with honours against the billion-pound ballers of Chelsea. In a closely contested final, Reds keeper Caoimhin Kelleher kept the Blues at bay.
It's an incredible save!
And then with 2 minutes left of extra time, stepped forward Liverpool's Captain Fantastic.
Virgil van Dijk just might have won the Carabao Cup for Liverpool!
A winning goal celebrated in style. Striker Darwin Núñez even forgot he was injured as he leapt over the barrier onto the pitch. Van Dijk's first trophy lift as Liverpool captain was shared with his manager, who's now won at least one title in his final season with the club.
I wanted him to be with me there, and personally lifting a trophy with the club as captain is, you know, there's not many players who do that.
This young talent is a reason for Liverpool fans to be hopeful for the future, even with Klopp's departure in the summer. And this final has created memories that will live forever.
The crowd singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." It's a special thing. And for the manager as well, obviously his last season, I think it was a special moment for him as well.
Yes, it was very emotional, very touching, but not because it might be my last game at Wembley. Couldn't be bothered about that, to be honest. It's just about, it's so wonderful what happened here tonight, and I loved each second of it.
So it's the dream ending for Klopp and Liverpool, who bring home the League Cup. And with the club still challenging for the Premier League, Europa League and FA Cup, they may get their hands on more silverware this season. David Chisnall, ITV News.
Yeah, well done to Liverpool. Well, next to Rugby League and another glorious night for Wigan Warriors, who were crowned world champions for the 5th time in the club's history. The Super League champions beat Australia's #1 team, the Penrith Panthers, in the World Club Challenge. In front of a sellout crowd of more than 24,000 at the DW Stadium, Wigan ran out 16-12 winners. A short time ago, 2 of their heroes, Liam Marshall and captain Liam Farrell, joined me in the studio and told me just what it meant to rule the world.
Because it's been a couple of days now and it's settled a little bit and been out and about around the town, you see fans and they congratulate you and they're over the moon and they're just so pleased that we've been able to become World Cup champions, and it's something we're really proud of.
You've won so much in your career, but where does this moment stand as you lift the World Club Challenge in front of your home fans, a Wigan lad born and bred? This must be right up there.
Yeah, I'm proud to lead the group at the moment. I've had some amazing times just as a player, but as a captain as well now. We've got a great group and we're all quite close, and all the coaching staff as well. Matty leads by example, and I'm just proud to be able to lift that trophy.
Well, Liam, not the best picture of you, because this is you behind the trophy, isn't it?
Yeah, first for radio, I think.
Don't worry, we've got a shot of you. We've got a shot of you. Here it comes. There we go.
Oh, that's
Much
a better one. Yeah.
How special was that?
Amazing. Just obviously second what Faz said. It's just an incredible achievement for the town as well as the club. I think Wigan is sort of synonymous with the World Club Challenge. Obviously Saturday nights is one of those that will go down in history. And like Liam said, probably the dust is only just settling, and it may be weeks, months, even years before it really sinks in of how special of an occasion and what we actually achieved. But for now, we're really happy we can call ourselves the world champions.
And it's a record equalling 5th World Club Challenge for the club, the first back in 1987. This trophy means so much to the town, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've spoke about that quite in depth, and there's a lot of history within the World Club Challenge, and we've played our little part in that success in the history of the club. And we've had a few legends in the club over the last few weeks, and Frano Botika's been one of them, and he's been involved in them games. Obviously Wayne against Manly and Dennis Betts against Brisbane. All these players have spoke to us in the last few days, and they're legends of the club. And I think over the weekend, us doing that, there could be a few more legends come out of that game.
So Liam, that's one trophy in the cabinet. There's still plenty more to play for this season. Is the dream, is the target a clean sweep this year?
Yeah, of course it is. I think you set at the beginning of pre-season and you have some goals, and obviously the success we've had in the last couple of years, we're hoping we can go on and win some more silverware, and it started with the World Cup Challenge Saturday, so that's one ticked off. But we won't get ahead of ourselves. Obviously a big long season ahead, which is strange with this trophy. Obviously you win something, but you've got 20 odd rounds of games left. But yeah, we'll take each week as it comes, and that starts Friday night against Huddersfield, and hopefully we can get back to some league success and be challenging at the end of the year.
Well, it's an incredible achievement. Congratulations to you both and to the whole Wigan team. Thank you so much for bringing the trophy in to see us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if the successes of Wigan and Liverpool aren't enough, let's finish with another moment of celebration, as Oldham Athletic chairman Frank Rothwell made an emotional return to Boundary Park. The 73-year-old received a hero's welcome after rowing 3,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean for charity. He was away for 64 days. And Oldham lost.
Oh, so many highs and then that low.
Great to see Frank, though, and lovely to see the North West Trophy cabinet
Isn't it just?
getting nice and full.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mike.
Now, to the best mates from Merseyside who are a long way from their home on the Wirral after setting off on a mammoth motorbike challenge last month.
Yeah, it's turned into quite an adventure for Derek, Charlton and Paul G. They've had to battle through wildfires, dodge floods, and for some of the journey, they've had to walk with lions. It's all part of their journey to Cape Town in South Africa, which stretches for more than 10,000 miles.
So far, they've raised over £4,000 for Clare House Children's Hospice. Jennifer Buck caught up with them as they left Cameroon.
It's a long and sometimes tricky road to manoeuvre, but Derek and Paul are now used to the tough terrain as they cover hundreds of miles every day through Africa. They left Merseyside on the 2nd of January and met their first challenge in France, where they had to plough through severe flooding. There was a change of gear in Morocco as they moved onto rougher roads, but enjoyed sharing their path with the locals. All along the route, they've been making friends.
Well, we've made it across the border into Côte d'Ivoire. So, welcome to Côte d'Ivoire, where the kids aren't so scared of us, are you? Are we good? Good. Are we good? Yay!
Every country that we've been through so far. It doesn't matter where you are, if you're in a petrol station or you turn up at a campsite or a hotel or you just stop at the side of the road, people are just so friendly, they're inquisitive, and you get chatting to them, and it's just been a lovely experience with them.
Mother Nature was not so friendly in Guinea, with wildfires blocking their path, but once into Senegal, they took some time out with the local wildlife.
Camp in the garden next to the hyenas and next to some rescued young lions, and there was a rhino there. So we had a lovely night there, and then we went and did the walk with the lions, which was a great experience.
Since leaving the Wirral 8 weeks ago, they've covered more than 7,000 miles, passing through Europe, Morocco and around the coast of West Africa, moving inland through Nigeria and Cameroon and now through the Congo. And there's still plenty more to look forward to before they reach South Africa.
We're looking forward to Etosha National Park in northern Namibia, and we've heard good reports about that. And there'll be other places we can explore as well. And then, depending on how we are on time, hopefully go into Botswana to see more wildlife.
The epic journey has so far raised more than £4,500 in vital funds for Clare House Children's Hospice in Merseyside.
When we get Wi-Fi, which is great because then my emails kick in and I get to have a look at some of the donations, which has been, to be honest with you, we're in disbelief sometimes when we look at it. You know, for Clare House, and I'm pleased that this is working for them because at the end of the day, that's what it's about for them.
Au revoir. Au revoir.
As Derek and Paul say farewell to another country, they still have a long road ahead in their 10,500 mile journey that will end in Cape Town in April. Jennifer Buck, ITV News.
Yeah, more wonderful, generous support for them. Now then, I suspect the weather will be a little cooler for our region than in Cameroon. Here's Joe with the latest.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you. Very good evening to you. Over the course of this week, there will be some spells of rain to come and temperatures are fluctuating, starting on the cool side. For the time being, temperatures around average at best and some frosty nights. And then with tomorrow's rain, temperatures pick up a little bit. It's unsettled through the middle part of the week and eventually turns colder with a return to overnight frost. So we can see this playing out quite nicely with a variation between the blue hues, the yellower tones, and then a return to something slightly colder with frost to come by night from Thursday into this weekend. All the while, it's not plain sailing. There will be some spells of rain to come, but this evening initially starts dry, clear, and with winds really dropping out. It'll allow temperatures to fall away low enough for a touch of frost, freezing in many spots tonight before cloud builds in the far west and rain begins to nudge into the Isle of Man on a cold front before dawn. On to tomorrow, and the sun will be up at 7:05, setting at 5:44 tomorrow evening. During tomorrow morning, cloud, rain and accompanying gusty winds will move eastwards across the northwest of England and for the Isle of Man. 1 or 2 heavy bursts contained within it, breezy conditions continuing into the afternoon, but the bulk of that rain moving eastwards and away by tomorrow evening. A little ridge of high pressure building in later on in the day. 8 or 9 Celsius again, feeling cool, but winds not particularly chilly, just gusty at times along our coast and up on higher ground. Now looking ahead to the middle part of the week, it will be rather unsettled with showery rain, and you can just see those temperatures beginning to slide off a little bit as we get towards Thursday and Friday. Some chillier nights ahead again. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Joe, what a great start to the programme tonight with Lauren and her lovely mum and dad.
That first pizza is going to taste amazing.
It sure is.
Bye-bye.
Good night.